Okay, so please, before we begin, I would like to ask, what part of critical thinking do we have issues with? What part of critical thinking do we have issues with? So I'll be waiting for your thoughts from them. Yeah, so Noble, Noble, I'm listening. Noble.
Please, argument.
Arguments. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
argue.
and the one that like it looks like math with a
Look
symbol.
like maths. Ah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah.
with a symbol. Everything,
All right, all right.
everything.
Yeah, yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that.
All right, right. Thank you.
Yeah, but we are just going to go through the beginning right now. But for that one, I'm going to have to need a board, you understand, to be able to teach you that. So
Okay.
in our
Okay.
face-to-face session, I will go through that. Our face-to-face session now. But
Thank you.
this one, what I'm doing right now, will help you understand it better. So that when I'm doing it in person, you're able to get it better. Okay. So Pearl, I'm listening. Miss Pearl.
Okay, so please, I have a problem with categorical proposition.
Please, I can't hear you, Pearl.
I have a problem with categorical propositions.
Okay, so the proposition, all right, all right, all right. So we'd also go, so for those ones, we'd go through it in the face-to-face classes. So this one, I'm just basically going to take you through there. But I would note it down. So the next time we meet, I would go to that place deeper. I understand. But this one, we're just going to go through the introduction. But yeah, thanks for your feedback. I would definitely teach that before we write your paper. Abigail, I'm listening. Miss Abigail.
Okay, so the fact I'm currently facing challenges with the fallacy.
Yeah, the fallacies. The
Yeah,
fallacies. Yeah.
yes, please.
Okay, okay, okay. I get it. Okay, so the fallacies also. So yeah, yeah, yeah. I'll take note of that. We would go through that as soon as possible. So yeah, anybody else? Edmund.
Okay, please. Thank you very much. Okay, please. My difficulty is around the categorical proposition and inferences.
Okay, so
That side. Please, did anyone hear me? Hello?
please, yeah, yeah, I'm listening.
Yeah, I made mention about categorical proposition and inferences. That's
Okay,
my challenge.
all right. So I will take note of that, and we would actually do all that in the face-to-face class. In our face-to-face session, we'll go through all that with the past questions. Yeah, no, so please just bear with us. We'll definitely do it before you write your exams. Before you write your exams. All right. So please, we are just going to go through the so what this slide that I had drafted here was a slide to just like refresh you on what critical thinking is about. You understand? So the next time we meet, we're going to go straight and start doing the more difficult parts. But I'm not going to be able to do it unless you actually understand what all these parts is about. Please, you understand? So if I'm able to let you understand this one, I'll be able to teach the other ones, whatever problems you have with what better. So this one, we are not going to take a lot of time, but I'm just going to take you through it. If you have any questions, you ask me, then we end this class on a very, very good note. So yeah, so yeah, we are going to cover the basics of critical thinking, the introduction of critical thinking. What arguments are, premises, indicator words, arguments, inference, propositions, and what non-argument. So before we go there, I'm sure most of us are actually very, very good, good with it already. So okay, so yeah, the people who will not be available for the face-to-face class, I genuinely yeah would work on finding a solution. We'll record the class. Yeah, we'll record a face-to-face session and would give it to you to watch it. Probably upload it on YouTube for you to watch it. Yeah, okay. So yeah, so before we begin, what do we think an argument is? What is an argument? That's the most important part of critical thinking. That's what critical thinking is related. I'm waiting for answers. What is an argument? So please raise your hand if you can answer the questions here. Uncle Phil, you can listen me.
Okay, so an argument is basically a disagreement between two or more parties, usually a heated one.
Wonderful. So yeah, Phil has basically explained what an argument is. So in critical thinking, okay, argument is more formal. You get it? So before we actually go into it, you have to take note that an argument is made up of two parts. Yes, an argument we actually practice it in person, but we don't know that is what we do when we have an argument. So in an argument, we have part called a premise. We have another part called a conclusion. You understand? So these two parts is what enables us to call something an argument or to call a statement an argument. So if we don't have a premise and a conclusion, we cannot say that this one is a what? It's an argument. You don't understand?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, an argument. You say that an argument is basically a group of statements where a premise supports a what? A conclusion. What does this mean? You see, I first of all explain what a premise and a conclusion is, so that we're able to understand it. Understand it better. Yeah, so we say an argument is a group of statements where a premise supports a conclusion in an attempt to prove something. Understand? Which means that in an argument, we are looking for what? A premise and a conclusion. And those premise and conclusions should be able to prove an argument or to be able to prove a point. Understand? So most of the time when we have arguments for the sake of proving a point. We are trying to say that, okay, what I think is right, or what do you think is wrong? You understand? So, for example, there's one example that I use a lot. The Messi and the Ronaldo debate, for example. You see, when you are with somebody and you are having an argument on the on who is a better footballer, okay, and we say Ronaldo is a better footballer because he has maybe goals, because he has goals, and because he has
Aura.
yeah, because he has aura, because he also has aura, no. So we can say that he is the better player than who? Than Messi. But somebody might also come and say that nah, Messi is also the better player because maybe I don't know, Messi is shorter than Ronaldo. You understand? And Messi scores more goals than Ronaldo. Or maybe Messi has more championships or more golden boots than what Ronaldo. It'd be so easy. Ready to talk say Ronaldo no dey reach anywhere. Messi no dey reach anywhere. Messi any day time. I don't know about what you talk, but yeah, it be so. It be so.
Enough you do
So
shit.
yeah, I see that some people too they follow. Some people too they follow Ronaldo.
And they support Pele.
So what they
I say Ronaldo, Messi any day, anytime. You know read that one.
it be so. 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 So yeah. So yeah. So that's you see. So this argument that we are having, okay, maybe me I go talk say nah Ronaldo better. So you go talk say nah Messi better. That is what we actually term as an argument because the conclusion of this argument is to prove a point. I'm trying to prove that Ronaldo is better. You're trying to prove that Messi is better. You understand? So a premise, that's premise. So as I said earlier, that an argument is made up of a premise and a what and a conclusion. So the premise, what we show in the premise basically means that if maybe the evidence that I bring, that Messi has 10 Ballon d'Ors, Ronaldo too has just 2 Ballon d'Ors. That is an example of a premise. You understand? So we can conclude that because Messi has more Ballon d'Ors than Ronaldo, Messi is the
Listing the
better
result.
Mr. Noble, please, if you not relate to the class, mute yourself. Yes, so that is what term as a premise. A premise is basically the evidence that supports a conclusion. Understand? So a non-argument is basically something that does not try to prove anything, like an advice. Understand? And if I'm giving an advice, I'm not trying to prove any point. You get it? Maybe if I'm giving a reference, I'm not trying to prove any point. You understand what I'm saying? So that's an example of a what? Of a non-argument according to critical thinking. So we come to premises and conclusions. We say here that okay, so we say here that what? A premise is basically a statement that gives reasons and or evidence support a conclusion. Like the example I gave earlier, maybe Messi has more Ballon d'Ors than Ronaldo. So when I bring this evidence forward, that is what we call a premise. You understand? So if that premise is able to hold a conclusion, it means that that is a what? Is a premise. Please, you understand? So what do we think as a conclusion is basically the statement that the argument is trying to prove. You understand? The fact so if I am trying to prove that Messi is the better player, that's when I'm going to give this. So the evidences in the premise is what is going to bring me to the conclusion, which is the result. Please, you understand? Please, do we get it?
Yes, we get it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Yes. So that is how a premise and a conclusion was related to each other in critical thinking. So we move to something very, very important. That's called what? An inference or an inference. What is an inference? We say that an inference is basically the reasoning process that connects premises to a conclusion. What do we mean by that? It's like, for example, using the Messi, I'm trying to get a female relatable argument, but I cannot think of any. So please, if you can give me a female relatable argument so that I bring it forward for the ladies who are also in the class.
Bone straight and front house.
What and what?
Bone straight and front house.
Bone straight and front house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if maybe I come and I say that bone straight is better than front house, and maybe Pearl also comes and tell me that nah, front house is better than bone straight. You see, the evidences that I bring, maybe the evidence I bring on the bone straight is that bone straight is cheaper, and bone straight is maybe is the most used hair whatever in the world. And you come and tell me that nah, frontal is most used than bone straight, or frontal is more nicer than bone straight. That is what we term as a premise. You understand? So an inference is basically the thought process that occurs before a conclusion. For example, if maybe I come, okay, and I'm saying that bone straight is better than frontal because bone straight has, I don't know the features of bone straight, but maybe bone straight is cheaper. Maybe bone straight
You could
is
just
more
use
silkier.
musicians.
The musicians. And so give me
I
an
use
example
like
I can use.
maybe like Caesar,
Stoneboy.
Thames, and Irasta, them people.
Yeah.
Beyonce and
Or Tyler.
whatever.
You say Tyler gets your friend is saying Grammys,
Yeah,
so you go use in the entire star. Hey,
yeah.
Irasta.
So maybe Tyler gets 5 Grammys. Then Ira Star to she gets maybe 2 Grammys.
And
So
a
when I
half.
bring these evidences forward, that's what is being termed as a premise. Understand? So the inference, no, it basically means that so right now it's like you are trying to convince me. You say that okay, since Tyler has more Grammys than what's her name? Ira Star. It means that Tyler is better than Ira Star. So you see that like that topic that I had before I came to that conclusion is what we term as the inference. You understand? So most of the time the inference uses words like because, since, therefore. So yeah, because, since, therefore. Those are the kind of words that the inference uses. So maybe because Tyler has more Grammys, she's better than what Caesar. Or since Tyler has more Grammys, she's better than what than Ira Star. Please, do you understand? This one there, I want to hear from the
Yes.
ladies. Miss Pearl.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so please, you understand the reference, right?
Please, yeah.
All right, all right. So yeah,
So the
yeah,
example you gave, like the premise, it is raining, and the inference,
uh,
it means you say because it is raining, then the conclusion states that its
ex-
ground is wet, right?
exactly.
Okay.
It's like the thought process. So Doris Cranton, Miss Doris, please ask your question.
Yeah, please. So I wanted to ask that. So basically, inferences means drawing conclusion from arguments. That's what it means.
Yes, it's like the thought process that draws the conclusion from the argument. And from the premise, sorry.
Okay.
From the premise, right, not
Okay.
the argument.
Okay.
Yeah, the whole thing is the argument. You understand? So the premise and the conclusion is what makes the argument. So the thought process that combines the premise from the conclusion is what we term as the inference. You get it now?
Yes, please. Thank you.
Yeah, you are very much welcome. So yeah, so we come to the propositions and non-propositions. So understanding this will help me to explain the propositional questions that you guys had, difficulties that you guys have in the face-to-face class. So the face-to-face class, you're going to have a very, very interactive lesson so that we really get what we want. Then we get the A's and the B's, you understand? Yeah, so propositions. So when you talk about propositions, the thought that should come in your mind is that, is this true or is false? You get it? So when I say propositions, what I'm trying to say is that, is this true or is this false? That is what a proposition means. So if we cannot determine if it's true or false, it means that it's not a proposition. For example, when we say Accra is the capital of Ghana, we can either say that statement is true or it's false. Meaning that we can derive a true statement or a false statement from this premise that has been brought. That's what we term as a proposition. Please you understand? So if maybe I say Kofi is a student, that statement can either be true or can either be false. That's what term as a proposition. So like this one, the sun rises in the west. We all know that it's false. You understand? So because we can determine if it is true or false from that, it means that it's a what? It's a proposition. So for example, like this, the ones we have here, we say, "Are you coming? Are you coming?" We cannot drive a true or false from it. Understand? It's more of a question. You get it? So most of the time, propositions are not with questions. They don't relate to questions. They are more of statements. You understand? So we cannot test the question. And like here too, we say what? Close the door. This is more of a command. When I say close the door, commands cannot be used as propositions. Propositions are more of statements. Please, do we get it?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yes.
yeah, so that is basically what propositions are about. So whilst you're doing the deeper part, this one is what's going to help you differentiate if you know, okay, this is a proposition or this was a, or the types of prepositions, even in that what proposition. All right, so we come to the next one, the types of premises. So we have some types of premises. Understand? So even in arguments, there is some ways that premises can appear or can look like in an argument. So all the premises, they don't all look the same. They have maybe some of them can look like this, some of them can look like that. But you're able to identify their types so that you know if, okay, this is a simple preference, a compound preference, or implicit or explicit preference. So we say the first one is a what? Is a simple preference, a simple premise. What a simple premise means that it only contains one idea. Most of the time, it's like a very, very short sentence. Kofi is running, and Pearl is a girl, Doris is a lady. Let me look for the names in the. Yeah, Edward is a student of GCTU. You understand? That one we can just remove one conclusion from that. You understand? Or if you just have one, it's just one idea I'm trying to portray. That's one. She's a girl, or he's a boy, or he's a student. You understand? So that's a simple premise. So I want examples on the premises. I would like examples from Pearl. Pearl, please give me one example of a simple premise. Miss Pearl.
Okay, Iraja is cooking.
Is it
Iraja is cooking.
Irajwa is cooking? Okay.
Yes.
So that's an example of what? Of a simple premise. Now I want cruiser. Cruiser. I don't think cruiser is in the class. So Anita. I can see Anita. Anita, please give me an example of a simple premise. One simple premise. Anita. Anita. Okay, so what about Andrew? Andrew, the last person, Andrew. Example of a simple preference, Andrew. Okay, no, yeah, I'm listening.
Uh, Today is Monday.
Today is Monday. Simple, yeah. So that example of a what? A very, very simple word. Premise. So yeah, so a compound, what's a compound premise? A compound premise basically means that it's containing multiple ideas together. So two simple premises joined together is a compound premise. You understand? It's very, very basic. So when you have two simple premises that's been combined together, we can call that a what? A compound premise. You understand? Like this one, what? Kofi is running and Amma is singing. You understand? Or Edward is a boy and Pearl is a girl. Please, you understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so that's an example of a what? A
Yes,
compound
sir.
premise. So an explicit premise. When we say explicit, I hope you know what explicit is. When if maybe you're coming to, I don't know, watch something. I think sometimes when I'm watching these adult shows, these 18 plus shows, no. See they can write that contains explicit scenes. I understand. So what do we mean by explicit in that sense? What it basically means is that it means that something is being shown clearly. You get it? So when you say an explicit statement, it means that everything in that statement is being shown clearly. You don't have to think so deep before you understand a statement. So an explicit premise basically means that the it is everything like the conclusion is basically stated in the argument. You can literally see that. So we can see that what all students studied hard. You understand? So we can see in this one that the premise has been is just like it has been stated clearly inside the statement here. You get it? So therefore the explicit, you don't really need to think so deep when you see an explicit statement. Understand? And the way Mr. Cletus teaches is that most of the time he likes bringing this explicit and implicit part because he knows that simple and compound here is very, very basic. But explicit and implicit, it gets really confusing at times. So we say the implicit. What the implicit is basically that what it's unstated. So you have to figure what the statement or what the premise is talking about from the statement. And understand? For example, we can say what? Yeah, Emmanuel.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for your presentation. I think you are making it very clear and very practical for us to understand. We wish
Yes.
we would have gotten you earlier. But you are hiding. We didn't get you to this last time. You are confused. Please, the types of premises, are they the same as the features? Like what you are saying, are they the same as the features of premises? Because I didn't get anything like types of premises, but I had something like features of premises. Thank you.
Okay. So first, thank you so much. So we are basically doing it under the SRC Academic Committee. You understand? So they had reached out. They had reached out to us, to me to come and teach this course. You understand? So I think the credit should go to the SRC Academic Committee chair. They have actually done very, very well organizing all this for you guys. And here, coming to your question. So when we say a feature of something, okay, I don't know. I hope we are all adults here. I might maybe have to use some statements. So
Oh,
For example, when we say a feature of something, okay, maybe a feature of a fridge, or maybe a feature of a cell phone. Yeah, let me a feature of a cell phone. A cell phone. A feature of a cell phone basically means that a feature of a cell phone is the components of that cell phone. You understand? Or
yeah.
yeah, the components that makes it distinguishable. That makes it different from
Mm,
something. That's what we call
yeah.
a feature of it. So let's say we can say a feature of a lady and a feature of a guy. You can see that the components of that lady that makes her different, or that makes her see that okay, Emmanuel, I'm listening.
Oh no, I was putting my hand down.
Oh, okay, okay,
Sorry.
okay,
You can continue.
okay. So yeah, as I was saying, you understand. So the feature is that is the components that makes it distinguishable from another thing. But the types of it is like maybe even in ladies, you understand. We have types of ladies. We have the slim ladies. We have the thick ladies. We have the big ladies. We have the short ladies. We have the tall ladies. You understand? These are what you call the types of ladies. But even in those type of ladies, we have the features of them. And so maybe a short lady is a type of lady, but the feature of a short lady is that what she's short. She's not a tall person, or she doesn't have a lot of height. So that's the difference between a feature of a premise and a type of premise. So the feature of premise is the components of that premise, but a type of premise is basically like the different types of that premise. I don't know if I can use another word apart from type. You understand?
Okay.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
a feature, you cannot add a feature to this the same as the type of a premise. A feature is more
Okay.
detailed than a type of a premise. You understand?
Okay. So then
You
maybe
understand?
I don't know whether I got from the classes, but I think I do. And because the class we had the features of premises as
And
they are
type of premise.
explicit and they are implicit. Yeah. So you thank you very much.
Okay. Well, since it was I did this class 2 years ago. Yeah, so I am actually basically teaching you on Pearl. For Emmanuel. So I mean, if that is
Yes,
going
sir.
to help you understand, I would actually
Yeah.
agree that I actually agree that you can use that method. You understand? Because I don't remember him using that part to to teach us. You understand? So
Mm.
if that is actually going to help you understand it, then I trust that you should actually go with it, Emmanuel. Okay, so I hope you actually, but like I hope from that you're actually good so far.
Oh yeah, I'll do the hybrid.
All right, all right, all right. So Pearl Mensa, please ask your question.
Okay, so please, I wanted to ask that um, can we conclude that the explicit premise, can we conclude that the simple and the compound premise forms like a subset of the explicit premise?
Okay, so we can conclude that in some scenarios it can happen. You understand? In some scenarios, you can actually have statements where there are maybe you can see even though it is simple, it is an explicit one. You understand? See, Reggie is now talking about the arguments that we've already finished. So
Oh no,
even
like I
even
wanted to answer
even in
this
a
one.
statement, okay, it can be simple at the same time, it can be implicit. Like this example, Kofi is Ghanaian. Kofi is Ghanaian is a simple this one. It's a simple premise. You understand? But if you look deeper into it, we can actually find that what after it, we can see what all Ghanaians are Africans. So we can see two statements there. Yeah, you understand? So we can have a simple premise as an implicit premise. Did you get it? It's just based on the scenario or where you are being used. And that's why we are going to be going through these past questions so that you know that, oh, okay, when he does this, this is what he means. When he does this is what he means. Please, you understand?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so
Thank
please,
you.
does anybody have any question? Okay, so I think Reggie, please, you have any question? Mr. Reggie.
Actually not. It's actually not a
All right, so
question.
since it's not talking, we are going to move on. So yeah, so
It's
because
actually not a question. Like, sorry.
okay, yeah, I'm listening.
It was like an answer to the types and features, like an example to use something like an iPhone. You see, the types of iPhone is like ranging from like iPhone 5, let's say iPhone 5 to what you have right now is 17 Pro Max.
Yeah.
And like each of them has its features. So some have sharp edges, some are round edge, and those are the features. And some have two cameras, those are the features. But then the types is the name, like the distinction given to it, as like an iPhone 17 or iPhone 17 Pro. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, wonderful, wonderful. Yeah. That's basically what how you can differentiate a feature from a what from a type. But please give me a minute. Please give me a minute. I'll get back to you as soon as possible.
Okay. Hello.
All right,
So the
yes.
one who gave
Edward.
the yeah, I was asking the one who gave the feature and the type of iPhone and all this. How can he relate it to the critical thinking aspect?
So basically, we're actually answering a question that he had brought. You understand? He was asking if we can relate the feature as same as the type. So we're just basically trying to differentiate the feature and the what and the types. You understand?
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I
So
got I got it clearly.
yeah. So listen to this one. A feature a feature of a premise. Okay. But a feature of a premise can be that maybe it's a statement. You understand? Because when a premise is basically a statement. Another feature is that if a premise contains an argument or contains an evidence. Another feature of a premise we can also say is that what a premise supports a conclusion. You understand? But when we talk about types of premises, that's why we see we have the simple premise, and the couple premise, explicit and the implicit premise. Please, you understand?
Yes, please. It's very clear.
Okay, okay. So yeah. So we are coming to the inference indicator weight. So you see, most of the time, man, the way Mr. Cletus answers his question is more of mathematics is more of an application subject. You understand? You don't have to chew it. You just have to read it and understand what it is. And you use that understanding of it to solve the questions that he's giving. I hope we get it. So when we see this kind of statements or this kind of indicators inside it, we should know that they are called what? Inference. So you can see, for example, you can see the therefore, you can see thus, you can see hence, you can see so, consequently. It follows that. So we see these ones. So even in the inference indicator words, they have been divided into the premise indicators and the conclusion indicators. So basically, the premise indicators are, you see, you already understand what a premise is. So it's like if you want to find out if a premise has an indicator or if a premise is an inference premise, you understand? That is when we use these indicators here. You see, as I said, because you see, for example, I gave with Tyler and Ira Star. I said what? Because Tyler has more Grammys than Ira Star. That's an example That's an example of a premise indicator. So a conclusion indicator can be like, so therefore, Tyler is a better singer than Ira Star. You understand? So that is how that's how the inference indicator words are being used in premises and in what? In conclusions. Please, do you have any question? Do you have any question? Okay, so I'm guessing that.
No.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So yeah, so moving on. So I think I've shared this one in a Google Drive. I pasted a group. So if you want this one, you can just go to the Google Drive. I have also sent this one for the out. Would actually go before we end the lesson. We'll go through on how to use the notebook LM to assist you with your slides. You understand? So that you can go through the slides very, very quickly. So I don't have to waste time on a slide and go through things that are not as important as they would be. All right. So I move to the next section, which is say what good and bad arguments. What do we mean by good and bad arguments? So we are basically trying to say that good arguments, okay, one feature of a good argument is that it supports the conclusion. So I think there is a question inside the past question. Let me see if I can get it. I can get it after I finish explaining this one. So we say a good argument is that what the premise genuinely supports the conclusion, and also the reasoning is valid and reliable. One thing I'm critical thinking is that it's all based on common sense. You understand? It's not so deep. Like you just have to have a little bit of common sense, and you're actually good to actually understand a lot of things that is going to go on, or a lot of questions that is going to ask. So just think that this argument is actually making sense. Like this argument are the two premises combining. It's like a debate. Or like an argument, for example, if maybe we're talking about Tyler and Ira Star. And when I come and say that because Ira Star can play football more than Tyler, Ira Star is better than Tyler. That is not it's not a reasonable argument because Tyler and Ira Star are not even related to football. They're related to what? To music. You understand? So you differentiating between a good and a bad argument is most of it is based on intuition. Like you just think that nah, this one there is not a good argument, it's a bad argument. You understand? So we say what premises they genuinely support the conclusion. So you can derive a reasonable conclusion from that premise that has been provided. That will show that okay, that is a good argument. The reasoning is valid and reliable. Like the example here, we say what all humans are mortal. Kofi is human. Therefore, what Kofi is mortal. We can say that these two premises they relate to each other. You understand? They connect, like they actually understand each other. You get it? So the way we are able to draft the conclusion is if we use the inference indicator here. So please, who can determine the inference indicator in the text? Edward.
Please, therefore.
Therefore, wonderful. So we can see that in this question, it's going to be breaking all these things. So all this knowledge about all this is going to help you actually know that okay, this is a conclusion, or this is a premise, or this is a that. You understand? So yeah, so we say a bad argument. We say a bad argument. Okay, Pearl, I'm listening.
Okay, so please, with the example, the all humans are mortal. Kofi is a human.
Yeah.
Therefore, Kofi is mortal. So please, can we say that Kofi is human is the
Is the conclusion?
Can we say that no, Kofi is human is the he said at the point he said there's this particular word that like connects
Inference.
yes, inference.
Yeah.
So please, is that the inference?
No. Okay, so basically, the inference is like what you are thinking before you came up with a conclusion. You understand? So most of the time, the inference towards it comes after all the premise has been stated. You understand? So after I've seen that all humans are mortal and Kofi is human. The thought that is going to do help me come to this conclusion is what we call the inference. Please, do you understand, Pearl?
Not really.
Okay, so let me try to explain it to you better. What I'm trying to say is that okay, so Frimpong, let me just answer this question. So Mr. Chris's questions are not as difficult as you would think, but they are quite difficult. If you don't study, you fail. That's all I can actually say. If you don't study this course, you fail. So yeah, on Pearl's question, okay. So I'm trying to say that the inference, the inference, it always comes after all the premises has been stated out. You understand? So an inference doesn't come in the midst of two premises. It comes after all the premise because it connects the premise to the conclusion. You understand? So after we have given all this one, premises, all humans are mortal. Kofi is human. After that, the inference here is the therefore. You see, so you thinking that okay, so because all humans are mortal and Kofi is human, because all humans are mortal and Kofi is human, the thought that is going to help us arrive at this, which is therefore Kofi is mortal. So the thought that help us arrive at this conclusion is what we term as the what? The inference. Please, you understand?
Yes, we now get it.
Now get
Thank
okay.
you.
So bro,
Okay.
by
So, sir, can we
yeah,
say that? Can we say
Yes.
that the inference answers the question how in a premise? Like, uh,
I want to give an example in the inference.
yeah, go ahead.
Um, okay, so let's say you are having a practical, a chemistry practical. You are supposed to test for ions. Okay, you have the test, you have the observation, then you have the inference. So when you take the test, let's say you add two drops of sodium, what chemicals, what you see, whether it turns milky, whether it turns chalky, the
uh,
inference side, you write that okay, so since the after the reaction, this is what happens, so therefore this and these ions are present, like that's the inference side. Or
So yeah. So yeah, basically, we can see that. And so please, does everybody understand, or we still have questions?
yeah, to the best of my knowledge, I think the inference is what help you to make the conclusion.
Yes. So yeah, what helps you derive the conclusion?
Yeah, yeah,
Basically.
what help you to like. So the question, how maybe if you don't if you don't study, you will fail these exams. So you ask your question how. So what help you? How will you feel? It is you only feel if you don't study. So if you don't study, will make you make the conclusion that you can fail the exams. So I think that the inference is the process of drawing a conclusion or what makes you identify a conclusion in a sentence or in a premise. Thank you.
Wonderful. Chinese means in this class there, Blanco. No, I have to stop. I'll stop teaching for
Oh,
you guys.
Charlie.
Just move on,
Oh,
Charlie.
wow,
But
wow.
I only teach kids for you. If you so. So yeah,
Okay.
I'm actually happy on the feedback that I'm actually getting. It means that you guys are actually getting what we are talking about in the class. So yeah, any more questions? Okay, so if not, we are going to move on to the next one. So let me bring okay, Edward. Edward, you have a question?
Oh yeah. So about
Yeah,
the good arguments.
yeah,
All humans are mortals. Kofi is a human.
human, yeah.
Can we say these two premises are compound?
These two premises are what?
Compound premises.
Yeah. So the compound premise is like two simple premises combined. You understand? So we can say all humans are mortal is one simple premise because it's bringing just one idea that all humans are mortal. The next one is that Kofi is human. It's bringing just one idea that what Kofi is human. So these both of them are simple premises, but we combine them. Maybe we say all humans are mortal and Kofi is human. That's what we combine. So we make that full premise as a compound premise. But since it has been
Uh,
divided here by a full stop, it is two simple premises.
okay. I thought you needed the conjunction end to make
Yeah,
it a
yeah,
compound.
you actually need some kind of connection to make one premise before you can term that as a compound premise.
Okay, okay, I
Yeah.
understand. Thank you.
All right, all right. So yeah, so let me get you the question. Let me get the question then. We just go through it quickly, then we continue. Yeah, so iPhone says, are these the only inference in now? So you can actually check online. You can check online for more inference indicator words. These are just the most commonly used one. I mean, according to the past question that I've seen, this was what I could come up with. That these are his most used inference indicator words. All right, wonderful. So please let me just let me show you guys the questionnaire. We go through it as soon as possible. So yeah. Okay, so yeah, the question is here. So please, I hope you can all see my screen.
No, please.
Yes.
Ca- Can't you see my screen?
Yes, please, you can
Oh,
see.
I can see the screen.
All right, so let's look at this one. The question one. So we say what? Analyze the following argument.
Please, can you zoom it small?
Consider whether is a strong or a weak. So please let's look at the statement here, the argument here. You say what? All victims of the conflict in Boku received relief items of one kind or the other. Aziz Ayibu should receive the relief items because he is the victim of the conflict in Boku. A. It is a weak argument because its premises provide poor and insufficient basis for the conclusion. B. It's a strong argument because both its premises and conclusions are true. C. It's a weak argument because both its premises and conclusions are false. D. It is a strong argument because its premises provide good and sufficient basis for the conclusion. What is the answer? What's the answer?
I think its argument is
Okay, so I
strong
think
because
Emmanuel says D, Resinato says D, Ephraim. Ephraim also says D. Okay, so yeah, basically that's it. So the answer is what is so please why Emmanuel, why is the answer D?
and because state that uh, it is a strong argument because for its con I think it's the
Okay, so you let me basically so easy. The reason why we say it's a strong argument is because its premises provide good and sufficient basis for the conclusion is because that is a feature of a good argument. You understand? When we talk about
okay, yeah.
yeah, when we talk about a good argument, I'm trying to say that the premise, as I said earlier, the premises should have a relationship. They want to give us a good conclusion. You understand? So if a
Mm,
premise does not give us a good conclusion, or if a premise that is not like good or a sufficient basis for a conclusion, it means that that is not a strong argument. It's like about
okay,
the Tyler and the Ira Star. If the evidences I bring, or the premises I bring are not strong enough to convince me that Tyler is better than Ira Star, it's not a strong argument. It's a weak argument. So if you're able to convince me, which means that is a what? It's a strong argument. You understand? All
okay.
right. Yes. So let's say please let's move on. Sorry, I have been speaking since morning, so I'm having a little problem. So yeah, so we have the types of non-arguments. So what are some types of non-arguments? You say what? Advice, and I said earlier, advice, report, warning, opinion, explanation, and illustrations. These are types of what? Non-arguments. So this one, what I was just you do is that just be looking at like be looking at things you think are arguments on an argument. And as be looking at it so that you'll be able to differentiate better if this is an argument or this is a what? Is a non no what is a non-argument. Okay, so right now with the end with the so this is basically the end of our first session. So we have basically taken the first half of the critical thing. The next half is the difficult part. So we talk about the fallacies, which we learn how to chew on all the fallacies that are there. We learn about the propositions, about all of them, you understand? So we're going to have a very, very interesting time the next time we meet in person. So I really like that everybody will, a lot of you guys will come so that we can finish it and get you guys all on board. So we can be able to move on and write our exams and pass and get the A's. So yeah, so I think a timetable has been shared into the group. Answering Edward's question. Timetable has been shared into the group. So you can just look through it and you would see when we would have that class. But it's actually subject to change. But we might change it based on the majority votes. You understand? But right now, that is the provisional timetable that is there. It's inside the group. So please you can go and what check it out. So yeah, I want us to look at a couple questions before we end the class. Okay, so don't worry, it will be posted again from Point Ernest. It will be posted again, so don't worry about it. So yeah, let's look at. Okay, let's look at question 3. What did he say? Consider the argument. One of us will clean the dishes. It won't be me. Which one of the following is the correct implicit of the argument? A, you will clean the dishes. B, you and I will clean the dishes. C, both you and I will clean the dishes. D, no one will clean the dishes. What is the answer? Number 3, what's the answer?
I think it's A.
It's A. Okay, so Imprim says A. I think Pearl, I heard a lady's voice. Says A. Yeah, okay. So
It's
yeah.
A.
All right, it's A. So why is the answer A? Edmond Atta Dampreni. Why do you think the answer is A?
Because one claimed one said it won't be me, so concludes that that person will clean the dish.
You understand? So easy.
Mm,
Like
Okay, one thing
yeah, Emmanuel.
one thing I understand about the implicit premise is that the argument is not clearly stated in
Yes, exactly.
it's not clearly stated. So, like the answer is not clearly stated. So that is the only option that is not clearly stated in that particular statement.
You
So
understand? Yeah.
that is,
Emmanuel, that's actually a wonderful conclusion. So yeah, so as he said, you can see that one of us will clean the dishes. It won't be me. You see that the statement is not like the premise is not actually clearly stated like that. You
yeah,
understand? Like it's indirectly stated. That's an example of
yeah,
an implicit argument. So we can see it was you clean because he said that what it won't be me to directly say indirectly says what it will be you. You
mm,
understand? So Apidago Bobby says that please can this question be posted in a group so we can go through? Yeah, so as I said earlier, it's a drive. I placed the drive into the community. So you can go and check the drive out. And when you check the drive out, you would see it's there. Okay. So it's not a drive, it's in a Google Drive. So please you can check it out after the class. And please text me if you have any issues. I'll be happy to assist you in the best of my ability. So yeah, so yeah. Before we end, I had wanted to take us through on how to use the notebook LM so that we can move faster. I don't know if some of us know how to use it. Please, how many of us know how to use the notebook LM? Please show by hands. Not use the. You are welcome, Mr. Edward. It's my pleasure to tutor you. So yeah, I think Noble. I'm guessing just Noble actually knows. So the notebook LM is basically an AI application that was done by Google. And it's for free. It's for free. It was done for free. Get it? So that students will be able to understand or be able to go through questions easier. So this is how to use it. Okay. So there is we can just go to the website. We just read what notebook LM. So this is the interface for the notebook LM. You understand? It's not really anything. Yeah. So so we come to the try notebook LM. We can see here try notebook LM. Press it. You see, when you press notebook LM, I'm going to have to log in because I've logged in already. That's why I'm going to have to create an account. Like you can log in with your Google account straightforward. So when you do that, so if maybe so if maybe you have a slide, and a slide that you don't understand, or a slide that you want to go through quickly, you can just use the notebook LM. You come here, create new notebook. So just press the create new notebook. You can see what creating notebook. So the notebook LM it uses just PDFs. It doesn't use PowerPoint. So yeah, I mean that you're going to have to transfer from PDF to what to PowerPoint. So you can just come here. You come to a website called I Love PDF. When you come here, you just look for it, PowerPoint to PDF. You select it. Once you select it, you just upload the PowerPoint file here. When you upload the PowerPoint file here, you can directly transfer it to PDF and you download it. So once you download it, you can just come to the notebook LM. Then you drop the file here. For example, the critical thinking file, for example. So I'll just select the critical thinking file. Because I hope you can see my screen.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, please, we can see the screen.
All right, so you can come here and you select this one, the PDF. You can just drag it here. So when you drag it here, we can see that there's something loading here. So after it loads, you can see some options here. You can see some options here. All right, we can see the audio overview, slide deck, video overview, mind map, report,
Flashcards.
flashcards here, quiz, infographic, and data table. You understand? So once this finishes loading, you can just generate any of this. You understand? So before the class, I had generated an audio overview and a video overview. So it is inside the yes, please. You find the past questions in the Google Drive. You find the past questions it's all in the Google Drive. So yeah. So once you're done, you get these options. So as I said earlier, I have already placed this one, an audio and a video overview in the Google Drive. So you can just go, maybe you're in a car, you listen to it or you watch it. It will just take you through everything very, very simple. And be able to go through the slide. It helps you go through the slides very, very fast. And understand? It helped me personally. It can help me get through the courses very, very, very fast. Very, very. Yes, according to Friendpon, yeah, it's actually free. So yeah, how will you find the past question? So you just select the Google Drive, you see it there. I've just placed it just there. So you just take it and you download it. It's not really so difficult to understand. It's like it's there. So when you go now, you see it. Yes. So yeah. So with this, We are coming to the end of our first exam prep tutorial critical thinking session. I was so happy that you guys have joined, and please, if you have any questions, you can reach out to me.
Yeah,
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 Emmanuel.
please. Yeah. Honestly speaking, what you did today, we are very happy, and a lot of us have really understood. We can't say everything here, but the critical thinking, especially, and some few other subjects. In fact, most of us are having challenges, but sometimes we don't need to talk too much. Like anytime after the presentation or the lectures have finished, maybe intermittently, you people can maybe or weekend you can actually organize classes to help the new ones or the freshers. Right now, I think a lot is going through our mind, and what you have taught us today, though we have understood, but I think there's a lot for us to touch on the fallacies as we are talking about and all those ones. So please, in the upcoming years, or I think there is to take a proactive measures to address these things easy, because sometimes when the lecturers come, you cannot challenge them in the class. You understand? So I think these few, and last one has to do with the fact that we don't have hard copy textbooks to these ones. When you go to other universities, I think they provide them with even sometimes, even if they can make it like a simple handout that maybe they can buy or something. Or I think it will even help us to read more at our own convenient time. But I think that is a few things that I think need to be addressed. Thank you.
Okay, so yeah, thank you for your feedback, and yeah, we are actually working on it. You get it? There are still a lot of things that we see. We are students. You understand me personally? I'm not a lecturer. Get it? I'm a third year student. I'm in my third year right now. Like we don't have as much power as you think. You get it? Like we don't have a lot of power to influence a lot of these things. So we just try to help in the best ability that we can, or in the current power
Even
that
the
we have.
even the LSRT doesn't have that power.
No, I mean the SLT does, but you see, this is a university. You get it? There are a lot of processes
Yeah.
that are going to go through before even a decision will be approved. It's going to have to go through the administration, come to the General Assembly. You get, so like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a university. You understand? So it's like things like this are not just passed out like that. You understand? So I've actually taken our feedback, and I would make sure that we are going to work on that in the coming years. Next semester, hopefully, we would assist you in the best of our ability. We'll try to have it earlier, and we'll try to cover as much as we can. As much as we can.
Mm,
Yeah, so thank you, Emmanuel. So
yeah.
Noble, your hands are raised. I'm listening.
Yeah. And please, thank you very much. This has really impacted me. Yeah, so my question was something about the notebook element. Do I
Yeah.
know how to use that? What's the use of the flashcard?
The flashcards are like questions. You understand? So the questions with answers at the back. So when you answer the questions and you answer it, you just tap it. It would send you to the back and you will see the actual answer. You understand? So like it's just questions and
Okay.
answers, questions and answers.
Okay. Okay. Thank you
Yeah.
very
So
much.
yeah, God bless you too, Rosina and Kuma. So Emanuela,
God
Miss
bless you.
Emanuela, please I'm listening. Hey, Imprim, I beg you. Hey, God bless you, Daddy. Hmm, joke. Miss Emanuela, please I'm listening.
No. Please, I'm okay now.
Oh yeah, okay. So yeah. So yeah. So it's been nice meeting all of you. As I said earlier, I'm Isaac Jubu, the tutor for the critical thinking sessions. So I'll be taking some other sessions also. So you're probably going to be seeing me around on, but I'm actually on campus. So yeah, so if you see me on campus and you have any issues, please do all to notify me. I'll try to assist you the best I can. So yeah, thank you for joining our first session, and have the good rest of your day. And yeah, text me if you have any issues, and yeah, I will see you or hear from you another time. Good. So please, yeah, so you can leave. You can leave the group now. So yeah, my number has been posted. Yeah, so I've placed my number in the group for somebody has my number. Yeah, friend Pong. I just placed my number in the group. So please do what text me. If you have any issues, I will assist you with it. Yeah.
Please, I'll text you.
Okay.